Yes, we are live right about now. Hi, everyone on Facebook. It's yours truly, Paul Chavez on KUHS, the stream. Not only do we entertain, we like to inform. And this guest that I have now on Zoom, this beautiful lady, she is with us at the beginning of this whole mess when it originally started. I mean, of course, everybody was just in the unknown territory, so to speak. And I think we're getting a little more of a grasp and on things, and I think people are beginning to get a little understanding as to what the heck's going on with this COVID-19. I walk into the studios of KUHS via Zoom, Virginia Pevic Garcia. Hello, Virginia from Nine Health Fair. How are you?
Hi, Paul. So nice being here one more time, and thank you again for the invitation. It's really nice to keep up with the information we're having out there. And as a freelancer reporter, I really find fascinating all the info we have and the things that are being said and the ones that are not being said,
Right.
and the ones we have to dig out, right, as communicators and broadcasters. So, un placer estar contigo esta mañana.
Claro, claro. Esta es una oportunidad para nuestra comunidad porque se me hizo, how do you say, I was not too impressed. Muy impresionado con lo que pasó este fin de semana. Servicios de la Raza, naturalmente, es una organización no lucrativa que ayuda a la comunidad, pero estaban muy emocionados que después de que sirvieron a 600 personas de la comunidad hispana versus what they did over at the Coors Field, over 10,000 people. What's going on in getting this word out to the Hispanic community and advising them as to how they can register para registrarse para ganar la vacuna, ¿no?
Primero que nada, pienso que Servicios de la Raza hizo un gran trabajo con las vacunas que se les proveyeron. No tengo el número formal, no tengo el dato preciso periodísticamente hablando en cuanto a cuántas vacunas les dio el Estado de Colorado, pero sí debo decirte, Paul, que el Estado de Colorado se está asociando con varias organizaciones sin fines de lucro, como fue el caso de Servicios de la Raza, como es el caso de Nine Health Fair también. En algún momento se van a querer asociar con nosotros, ya nos han hablado, para hacer una repartición, una distribución de las vacunas, principalmente entre minorías de color, esto es, la gente latinex o latina, como a usted le guste mencionarla en casa, la gente nativoamericana, la gente afroamericana, e incluso la gente anglosajona que de repente es underserved, la gente que no tiene recursos, la gente que se ha quedado sin trabajo y la gente que de repente no tiene cobertura médica porque por haberse quedado sin trabajo no tiene cobertura médica. Entonces, yo creo, Paul, que lo que está viendo el Estado y lo que analizan muchos es lo siguiente. Bueno, los que tienen cobertura médica, a través de su cobertura médica o un programa de Medicare o Medicaid, van a tener acceso en su momento, en su fase correspondiente, a la vacuna. En este momento la vacuna es para healthcare workers, personas que trabajan en el área de salud, doctores, enfermeras y demás, y para aquellos que tienen de 70 años para arriba. Los demás tenemos que esperarnos. Usted tiene sus 40, 30, 20, 50, 60, se tiene que esperar. El gobernador acaba de informar el viernes de la semana pasada que van a empezar en breve la vacunación de los que tienen hasta 65 años, de 65 a 70, o sea que de a poquito va agregando más gente. Creo que es la fase 1 o B2, si mal no la recuerdo, y a partir del 8 de febrero va a anexar también a esta nueva categoría a los maestros de escuelas. Entonces, tampoco está intentando agregar el gobernador, en el trabajo más dantesco que le ha tocado en su carrera, más gente a esta ecuación. Ahora, ojo, desde mi perspectiva periodística personal, no trabajando con ninguna empresa, mi querido Paul, yo veo dos cosas. Por un lado, la cantidad de supplies, la cantidad de remesas que le envía el Estado federal al Estado de Colorado para que luego se distribuya a nivel de ciudades, de condados y demás. Y ahí es donde me parece a mí que hay un problema. Porque los números que vemos en las presentaciones del gobernador y demás, que son de lo más elocuentes que él nos pueda brindar, de repente me parece a mí que no se condicen del todo con lo que ve la realidad de la gente. La gente dice, el gobernador me dice que llegan 70.000 vacunas por semana, pero mi papá, mi mamá, mi abuelo no se vacunó.
No.
El vecino mío que trabaja en el healthcare industry todavía está en lista de espera número 45.900. Entonces, me parece que ahí es donde la gente siente una dicotomía entre lo que nos dicen los números oficiales y lo que pasa en las calles. Entonces, Servicios de la raza es 600 porque es lo que le pudieron dar, porque esa semana no tuvieron 70.000. Y bueno, pobre, hace Servicios de la Raza lo que puede con
Sí.
la cantidad que le indicaron.
Claro, claro.
Y a otro lugar le dieron 10.000, qué bueno. Pero me parece que ahí es donde está el enojo de la gente o la frustración del consumidor por sentir, yo siento que dicen que hay un número grande, pero en la realidad a mí ese número todavía no me toca. Me parece que lo que toca es mucha paciencia, ¿no?
Sí. Well, you know, and I'm taking it personal because I have a father-in-law at home that is 75 years old, and he's on Medicaid, and we've been trying. As a matter of fact, I tried just before I came into the studio today to get him connected to his doctor to get the shot, and he's still not able to do it. Now, I've got a brother in New Mexico that's in his 70s, and he was able to get the shot in New Mexico like right away. So is it a lack of getting the vaccine? Is it the lack of communication? Is it the lack of direction? It is frustrating. It really is, Virginia, especially if it hits home.
And I hear you, and I'm so sorry. This is the case of your family, your household, and it's the case of many out there, my dear Paul, who are feeling frustrated because they feel like in your same shoes. I do have someone in my family who is in the range of the 70s or is a healthcare worker, and they haven't been able to get their shot. And I don't think there's anybody to be blamed. There's simply a shortage, and we all know that.
Right.
And it comes from the national change, and it's coming all the way, trickling down to the state and to the cities and the counties. And it's not like they don't want to give your father the shot, it's they don't have the supplies.
Right.
So they're promised a number, and at the end of the week, the state or whomever is doing the transition and is providing them with that, they are like, you know what, I'm so sorry, but the 70,000 we have been promised are not here yet.
And
so,
I see some, I don't mean to interrupt you, but I see some numbers where it looks like there's 464,000 people have already gotten the first dose, and there's 132,000 people that have gotten both doses. So that's telling me that it looks like the first dose is being put out there because there's always obviously these 132,000. This is in the state of Colorado, according to Fox 31, that have been already immunized. So I'm saying, what's going on with these? Here's another thing that really frustrates me. We went into this website where was put out there by the CDC, and it was giving us a website to go to. And I'm not kidding you. This is the longest website address. I think it's over 32 letters and numbers. It's like if you've got any kind of, if you're in your 20s or 30s, you could probably understand it, but as you get older, obviously, it's ridiculous. Slash, this and that. Come on, make it easier for us, correct?
Yeah, and I think you have a great point right there. I think we're talking about the sandwich generation, the ones who are right in between, people like you, Paul, people like myself, people who are in their 30s, 40s, 50s, and 60s who have to do the homework for mom and dad or their grandparents because grandpa and grandpa don't have the computer savviness to get access to all those long, lengthy, confusing links. And then are the parents and the grandkids the ones who have to help them out to make sure that they are connected from the link to the place where they're going to be vaccinated.
Let me ask you something.
And the thing is, there's frustration. There's frustration on all ends.
And there is. And we kind of discussed a little. It says, what are you going to ask me when I come on? I said, it's going to be sporadic because I'm all over the board today, and it's emotional. It hits home. There was, 30,000 people at Coors Field that were vaccinated. How did they sign up? How did they get in? Is what I wonder.
I think one of the best things I got in a couple of conversations, and I was very lucky and very blessed. I've been after that interview for quite a few weeks, and finally I got a hold of him, and I loved interviewing Dr. Chief Medical Officer of the Department of Human Health and Environment, Dr. Eric Hans, top doctor in the state. He's been interviewed nationally and internationally, and I got lucky enough to interview him 2 weeks ago. And he gave me a couple of links that I would like to share with your audience, Paul, this morning. And one is vaccine-for-Coloradians. And I can write it on the chat if you want me to, so that you can put it on screen for your followers and readers and listeners. And I also got in an interview with some reps from the same Department of Colorado Human Health and Environment, and they gave me a new number that is going to be a hotline addressing all the questions you may have regarding the vaccine, which is really an important number because starting yesterday, now they're taking phone calls 24/7. The number is 1-877 COVAX-CO, which is 1-877 268 2926.
Very important number there. And I'm sure my crack staff in the back is writing this stuff down. We'll share with our community as, we're being listened to not only in Denver, but is this for the whole state of Colorado?
Yes, sir. And I want to go back to your point. One of the very interesting and very valid points you came across this morning, Paul, when you were mentioning the plate that you feel somehow we're having right now when it comes to the people feeling like they got their first shot, and all of a sudden they're getting their second shot, and only a few are starting to get their second or first doses, I should say. And I think you have a very good point in there, because the main premise in here, the main important goal, all of these are persons who are involved, either health agencies, the CDC, the State of Colorado Human Health and Environment. The main thing they have in mind is don't waste any doses.
Right.
So if you don't go, and they make you sign even a waiver saying you must come back and get your second doses, because you know what happens if you don't go after 21 days exactly if you get the Pfizer vaccine, or 28 days if you got the Moderna vaccine.
No.
It's a waste of the doses because you have to start all over. You have to get another first dose again.
Wow.
Makes sense?
They heard it.
I don't know if there's so much information about out there that even implies this to people, so they are really understanding the importance of that waiver that you're signing and the importance of the compromise you're taking.
Right.
If you're getting the first dose, you must come back for the second. And yeah, it's going to hurt a little bit, like when you get your flu shot.
Yes.
And yeah, you may get a headache, or maybe you don't. But it's important that you get vaccinated, especially if you're in the range of the 70s and plus, or especially if you're a healthcare worker, and especially if you're given that opportunity of being among the first ones to be inoculated. So I think you should really take advantage of that. I'm going to write that information that I shared with you earlier.
Y ahora para la comunidad hispana que están escuchando y viéndonos por Facebook, vamos a explicarle poco de la importancia después de que agarre la primera vacuna, que es importante que agarre la segunda, ¿verdad? Y el tiempo.
Muy importante. Es muy importante porque si no es como que se vuelve al square zero. Si usted se fue a dar la primera vacuna, señora, y resulta que porque le dio dolor de cabeza, o le dio un poquito de fatiga, o le dio un poco de náusea o mareo, o le hizo doler en la zona en que le aplicaron la inyección, y usted dice, no, pues no quiero ir, o voy a ir a los 21 días, no, pues voy al 22 o 23, no le hace. No, sí le hace. Si le dijeron 21 días y ahí le escribieron en el papelito la fecha en la que tiene que volver, por favor, vuelva exactamente en el día en que le indiquen, porque si no, tienen que volver a empezar, y esa dosis que le dieron hace 18, 16, 7 días, se la van a tener que volver a dar, y esa cuenta otra vez como la primera. Entonces, usted está impidiendo que otra persona pueda darse su vacuna, y entonces eso hace que nos dilatemos más en el plan que tiene el gobernador y el plan que tiene el gobierno federal para que todos nos vacunemos. Cuando hablé, Paul, con el doctor Eric Franz, el mero petatero del Departamento de Salud Pública y Medio Ambiente, que además quiero decir que fue un profesional excelente para entrevistar, me dio mucha información, él ahí también me aclaraba que hacia finales de febrero va a venir una vacuna más, que ya está buscando la aprobación del FDA, la Administración de Food and Drugs Administration de este país, la Administración de Alimentos y de Drogas, que es nada más y nada menos que la vacuna de Johnson & Johnson. Y Johnson & Johnson, me contaba el doctor, se está asociando con otra compañía que se llama Janssen, que muchos de ustedes conocerán, Janssen, y la belleza de esa vacuna es que va a ser una sola dosis.
Nomás una.
Entonces, atento con ese dato, porque me parece realmente relevante.
Sí, esa no es la que dice que nomás te va a cubrir 50%, ¿no?
No,
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 no, no.
no. Es una de las que más efectividad tiene. De hecho, Pfizer tiene una efectividad del 95%,
Sí.
Moderna tiene un 94.1%, Johnson Johnson, no recuerdo el porcentual, pero el doctor me habló muy bien de esta vacuna.
Okay.
Y la otra que se vendría a final de febrero, comienzo de marzo, la cuarta vacuna que se está esperando es la de AstraZeneca. O sea, posibilidades va a haber, Paul, posibilidades va a haber, gente linda que nos está viendo y escuchando. Esto me lo comentaba, vuelvo, repito, el doctor Eric Franz, no Virginia García, a mí no me creas. Pero es mi investigación como periodista, como comunicadora, para que todos estemos mejor informados. Y lo que el doctor prevé es que si seguimos en este buen tranco de darnos la vacuna a todos, si siguen llegando las dosis que nos están prometiendo desde el gobierno federal hacia abajo, la idea es que para el día 6 de septiembre, Labor Day de este año,
Sí.
estemos todos vacunados y podamos volver a la escuela.
Wow, impresionante.
Eso es una predicción increíble, entonces me parece que es importante compartirla con tu auditorio, Paul, porque así como te di varias primicias en su momento hace varios meses, ahora me estoy permitiendo darte también varias primicias o información que se está conociendo hace poco tiempo y que creo que es importante que la comunidad latina y la comunidad anglo que te escuchan la conozcan.
Muy bien. That was going to be my next question, and of course you talked to this doctor that, well, I mean, he's pretty close to Fauci, I would assume. And
Yep.
You mentioned that by September of this year, we should get back to somewhat of normality. Is that right?
That's his hope. That's
Wow.
his hope. And there are many other resources that have been implemented. They are in place, like the visits that Governor Polis was doing yesterday to Pueblo and some other cities nearby. You may have seen that online.
Right.
And he was distributing the Binax Now. I don't know if you heard about that, but it's a new way for schools, staff members of the school, teachers, and some students as well, to get tested in case they got COVID. And it's pretty fascinating because it's a nasal test, but they have results in less than 15 minutes back at home in their cell phones. So
Wow.
They don't even have to go anywhere. Yes,
Wow.
sir. So this is a type of IT, this is a type of technology that the Colorado state, and it's one of the 3 states in the whole country that has that type of access to technology, is one of the 3 that have the Binax Now test for kids in school, for teachers and whatnot. And also we have these vaccines in town, Moderna, Pfizer, and as we mentioned earlier today in Spanish,
Johnson.
Dr. A.A. Franz mentioned that we're going to have at the end of February, the Johnson & Johnson and Janssen, knock on wood, hopefully gets approved by the FDA. And by mid-February or March, we may have arriving AstraZeneca as well. And the prediction is, the forecast is that hopefully by Labor Day this year, we're going to get a sense of normalcy once again in the state of Colorado.
And, you know, one of the things that I think a lot of people my age, I won't say how old I am, but anyway, they have this hesitance of doing this shot for several reasons. One is side effects and how much testing has been done for these products that we're injecting into our body, and do we actually know? I mean, we know of people that died after a couple of days of taking the vaccine. We don't know what kind of underlying, conditions he was dealing with, but that's also, are these things that actually been tested and proven, or is it something that we're just diving into? That's what we need to know.
According to Dr. A. Franz, he said that they were severely and rigorously tested quite a few times, thousands of times, and with all sort of volunteers from each one of the ethnic groups and races. So we know exactly how the vaccine was going to act in different groups and different individuals. And he did express that, you know what, there's always a chance that a minority, a little percentage of group of people may have some sort of extreme reaction. Maybe they already have an extreme reaction to latex, or maybe they have an extreme reaction to another type of materials or components or food. So those people should ask to the doctors if they should give the vaccine or not. But for the most of the population, for 95% of the population, 98% of the population, the vaccine works and doesn't have anything else than the typical annoyance of, I got a little bit of a bump, a little bit of a swelling area in the area where I got vaccinated, just like it happens with the flu shot. And Dr. Franz emphasized once again, and he really stressed, the fact that this is something that you can trust, exactly as it happened with the herpes or chickenpox or any other disease that was created with a vaccine to support and to prevent it and to prevent the high rate of mortality 10, 15 years ago. The same is happening with this vaccine. This is something that in the history of humanity has been tested. This is not the first coronavirus. We have a sort of coronavirus. This coronavirus type is called COVID-19. But the science has been prepared for this in the sense of we know we have dealt with coronaviruses in the past. And in this particular case, given the pandemic scenario, well, they have to act way faster, and they really sped up. And he was fascinated by all the nuts and bolts that were involved in getting this vaccine on time for all of us in less than a year.
One of the another kind of things that people are afraid of now, there's word that there's a new strain of this virus that's out, and I think there's been a few in Colorado that have already gotten it. And what do you know about this new strain?
I think the main concern that Dr. Franz expressed to me in that interview 2 weeks ago was more than anything else the I think it is the terminology in medical terms, regarding this multi-inflammatory organ system that is being affecting kids, very young kids and toddlers. That's the one where he was concerned about because they saw a really high peak in cases at the end of November and in December. So his concern was, is just that a trend that it was connected to the high number of cases that we saw of COVID-19 among adults and elderly, or is just a trend, or is it going to come back? Is it something that we have to watch out, or is it something that was just, okay, an exception to the rule? We saw some cases like that back in March and last year in April, and then we saw that they disappeared, nothing happened again, and then they had a peak in November and December, and now they're analyzing if the trend is going to just die down. So that's the only one that was mentioned and brought up to our attention as public. Nothing else regarding the only one case that you saw. You may be referring to the one case in Elizabeth.
Yes.
That was very similar to the one they found in England a few weeks ago. But nothing else has arisen in that particular area, so we're safe there.
Great. Well, you've definitely enlightened our community into. I think it's important we share that number and that website once again.
Yes, sir.
Especialmente para la comunidad hispana, para donde que quieren ir. Y ahora, hablando de la comunidad hispana que no están documentados, habíamos hablado sobre eso cuando esto primeramente inició, porque muchos no podían ir al hospital por casos que no estaban documentados. Ahora, para la vacuna, ¿tienen que estar documentados o
no?
¿Nada?
No.
Okay.
Y esa es una campaña que estuve trabajando con algunas agencias, y gracias por la pregunta porque es muy buena, Paul. Independientemente que usted sea ciudadano o no, no se preocupe, porque no se va a pedir estatus, no se va a pedir sus papeles. Ahora que incluso cambió la administración, esperemos que sea un poco más laxa en ese aspecto. Sure. Es todo lo que voy a decir. Pero no se tiene que preocupar usted por eso, no se le va a pedir identificación. Lo único que se le podría llegar a solicitar es que se presente con una cartita consular o con alguna forma de identificación para comprobar que usted tiene 70 o más años. Es todo, pero no importa cuál es su estatus legal en el país. Y además otra cosa, Paul, que me parece interesante añadir a tu pregunta tan válida, el hecho de que por más que usted vea en el link, se puede dar la vacuna en UC Health, o en Denver Health, o en Cárcel Permanente, o en Salud, Clínica Salud, y usted diga, pero yo no soy miembro de ninguna de esas clínicas, yo no tengo una membresía con ellos, o yo no pago para estar con ellos atendido. No se preocupe, usted puede ir a cualquiera de esos lugares donde haya un cupo y donde le puedan dar la cita para aplicarse su vacuna si es que usted está en el rango de lo que en este momento el gobierno, del gobernador Polis, está permitiendo, que son las personas de 70 para arriba, o si usted es healthcare worker, en los próximos días se va a añadir el grupo de 65 años y a partir del 8 de febrero los maestros. El portal que puede visitar es Vaccine, se escribe de chiquita A, C, C, I-N de Nancy E, el guión en el medio, la palabra for, F-O-R, guión en el medio, Coloradians, que se escribe Coloradans, y el número telefónico al que puede llamar para plantear cualquier pregunta, incluso en español, y están abiertos las 24 horas para responder cualquier pregunta que tenga usted sobre vacunación, es el 1877-268-2926. Se lo repito, 1877-268-2926.
All right, and it's worth repeating that in English once again as to where you can go, because I think that is the biggest downfall, or that I don't know, the media's just not doing all that good in that, and I think it's important that we get it out. That number and that website, I think, is key. Go ahead one more time, Virginia.
You bet, you bet. The phone number where you can call to ask any questions you may have, and you can ask that in several languages. Of course, English is the first one, and the hotline is open 24/7 for any questions you may have regarding the vaccine. The number is 1-877-268-2926. Let me give you that number one more time. It's 1-877-268-2926. And the link that you can visit in order to find where you can get vaccinated is vaccine-for-coloradians, okay? And in that place, you can find the information you need. As I was telling previously to Paul in Spanish, even if you see places like UC Health, Denver Health, Kaiser Permanente, Clínica Salud, whatever you see in there, don't you worry a bit. If you don't happen to have any medical insurance and you're not covered by any of these entities, you can go there regardless of where you are enrolled or where you're not enrolled.
That is awesome. Well, there you heard it. You heard it right here from Virginia Pemick and Garcia. And of course, when is this 9 Health Fair going to start up again? I mean, you guys were such a mainstay in the community. Well, what's going on with that?
You know, we're working in different things right now. Thank you so much for the candid question, Paul. We are not able to do our health fairs the way we used to have them because of the obvious reasons that we are not in total control of the COVID-19 pandemic yet. But we've been doing some online resources for different folks. We've been working with different rural areas as well, by providing people preventive measures. And we're also still selling our preventive blood chemistry analysis and all the other ones that you are very familiar with, hemoglobin A1C and all the other ones, vitamin D, vitamin C, and whatnot. So you can get them online, and then you can go to a MetroQuest facility in order to get them by appointment only. So you know you're secure, you're safe with your mask, with only one person seeing you at a time. So that's the way we've been working out to keep providing the community our preventive health screenings without jeopardizing anything or anybody.
Well, it's definitely needed in the community, and I'm glad you're doing at least a short version of that, and that's good to know. Virginia, I think you've calmed the hearts and minds of many people, and you convinced me. I think I will take the shot. There's this conspiracy deal going on as well, that you're going to get that shot, and then all of a sudden you're going to get some kind of weird stuff into you and all of that stuff. But hey, it is what it is. You got to do it, and if we got to do it, we got to do it, right?
Yes, sir. And you know what? If I may share a little piece of my heart with you, Paul, and with all the wonderful people who listen to you and follows you, I lost a cousin who was in her 30s, and she left behind 2 kids.
Wow.
So she was in her 30s. So I don't want to chance it. To me, this is like a Russian roulette, so why chance it, right? Like, oh, no, if you're young, you're not going to get it. It's severe case. You're going to be fine. You're going to get the antibodies, and then off you go. That might not be the case. Yeah. I lost a cousin to COVID-19.
And I've had situations of people that real near and dear to my heart, where I have an uncle that got his 5th heart attack, and it was due to COVID, and he's got to do oxygen for the rest of his life, and that's just one of them. I've had some members that have passed from COVID, and it's important that we're informed and knowledge about that. I got a father-in-law that's terrified about it. Every time we step out of the house, he freaks out because he never know what we're going to bring home. So thank you so much once again. We're going to reshare this. You've got the floor. Anytime you like to come, once this is over, we'd like to invite you to come on down and talk about what you're doing, and by all means, we'll share the program with you and rerun it soon again. Thank you once again. Gracias te doy, Virginia, que la he conocido por muchos años en los medios. I knew you as a weather lady. You did so fantastic back in the day. A friend of ours, yes, you did good. A friend of ours Luis Canela, who's having a birthday today, wanted me to say hi to you as well.
Oh my gosh, he's such a dear friend of mine. He's an angel, and I miss him dearly. So happy birthday, Luis Canela.
There you go. Ahí estamos. Felicidades a ti y tu familia. Stay safe, stay healthy, and we'll talk to you maybe a little down the line once we get a lot more of these people vaccinated, right?
I love that. And whatever you need from me or your audience, please, I'm here to your disposal, at your disposal. And I have the 2 interviews posted on my personal Facebook page, Virginia Garcia Pivic, and also at the Facebook page of Nine Healthcare in Espanol, in case you want to see the interview with Dr. Eric France in English or in Spanish. I posted in both.
I did see that. I did see that, and that's what inspired me to give you a call. But yes, for those people who need to know and find out, that's as close as you're going to get to the horse's mouth, so to speak, right?
Yep.
All right. Virginia Pivic Garcia, muchas gracias de nuevo. Aquí en KUHS, the stream, not only do we educate, but we also entertain. And goodbye to everybody on Facebook and all the other 5 platforms. Virginia, un abrazo y un beso.
Un abrazo, amigo. Gracias.